We keep talking about how Sobha and Sobha Hartland has an amazing quality product. But I'm here today to show you what really high quality product looks like. I'm here at Sobha Experience Studio and I will be taken in a VIP tour with the engineer showing us what really happens behind the walls of Sobha. So let's go. Here begins Sobha Experience Studio.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Thank you.
My name is Syed.
Thank you.
So welcome to our Experience Studio. The main purpose of this Experience Studio is to give you an idea about our quality. So Sobha brands itself on saying that we have the best quality possible. So how we managed to achieve that has been explained via this Experience Studio.
Okay.
So over here we just have a brief introduction about our chairman. He started the company in 1976. Between 84 to 92 we worked for the Royal Caboose Mosque. He is known as the palace maker because he has worked for the Royal Caboose Mosque, the Palace of the Sultan of Oman, as well as for the Palace of the Sultan of Brunei. We came to Dubai in 2003 and we worked as an independent contractor. In 2014 we started the Sobha Hartland project. In 2018 we had the first handover, which is for the Greens Phase 1, and in 2025 the entire project is expected to be completed. So now over here we explain how our company is actually different from other developers in the UAE. So Sobha is a backward integrated company. So what that literally means is that we do majority of the work ourselves. So for example, we have PNC architects in charge of your architecture and engineering. You have Sobha Construction, the main contractor on site. You have CR Landscaping, we have Sobha Facades, and many other subsidiary companies which manufacture the raw material used on site. All in-house. So basically we do our own design, execution, sourcing, craftsmanship and quality control. Now the benefit of being a backward integrated company is basically that we have a control over the construction. So we can guarantee that our projects will be finished on time and that we will retain the quality that we say we have. Okay. So over here we actually see the exterior facade of the apartment building. So you have your concrete wall here, which you can find in most apartment buildings. So we have the reinforcement and your concrete. On top of this we have what's called the external insulation facade system. So this is basically a fireproofing exterior facade that has been made specifically for the apartment buildings.
Right.
So
concrete and then the facade.
And concrete and then the facade, yes. So it's a 7-layer system, the most important of them being this one, which is the rock wool fireproof coating, which is 100 millimeters thick. So this is not actually a government regulation or a DEWA requirement. This is something that Sobha has done itself in order to ensure the safety of its clients. So you have your concrete, you have 7 layers, and it's finished with an architectural textured paint. So next we have the decking and the void former. So the decking can be found anywhere you have a water feature. So for example, if you have a pool in the villas or in the community area, this will be the flooring that you will see around it. So now it's made of a special wood plastic composite material. It has grooves in between from which the water can drain. So you have constant drainage throughout the entire day, which prevents any water collecting on top and hence preventing the material to wither over time.
So it's a safety feature and a material feature.
I wouldn't say it's a safety feature, but it's more basically more convenient in terms of maintenance over time.
Okay.
Because normally what happens is if you have a tiling in this same area, which is the normal norm, what happens is over time it withers and you have to keep replacing it. Right. And it's very hard to replace tiling. You need to retile the entire area. You can't just remove a singular patch. But over here each panel can be removed and immediately replaced.
So it's minor cost.
It's minor cost which over time become a huge cost.
Yeah.
Now underneath this we have the void former. So the basic purpose of the void former is again your maintenance. So you have your service lines running underneath, as you can see. So in the future, if there is any maintenance that's required, the labor of the technician, they can simply crawl underneath and they can carry out the work.
So this is literally underneath.
This is underneath the
pool or garden or
underneath not underneath the swimming pool, around the
swimming
swimming pool. This is around the swimming pool. This is your flooring. This is where you will be standing. So in the future, if there is any maintenance, the labor, the technician, they can simply crawl underneath and they can carry out the work. There's no need for them to remove the flooring or excavate the entire area. No. So it reduces your maintenance cost, maintenance time, and any disturbance costs to you as well.
Okay, perfect.
Now over here we have the wet cladding and the dry cladding. So now the wet cladding is your exterior facade for the villas. So instead of using brick, what we have used is architectural stone veneer. So each piece is handcrafted and independently been stuck onto the wall. The main purpose of using stone over brick is mainly because it requires lesser maintenance and also because of its aesthetic purpose.
Okay.
Now over here you have the external facade for the apartment buildings. So for representation purposes we have shown granite, but it can either be marble, glass or aluminum depending upon the location. However, you will find granite in locations such as your basement and lobby area. And we have a waterproofing sheet at the back as well as underneath for your waterproofing purposes.
And I see that it's not attached directly to the concrete.
It is, yeah, it's not directly attached. You have a series of clamps that have been kept in place. This is mainly because in order to maintain the heat temperature. Because if it's directly attached, this granite gets hot really fast. So in turn, then the internal wall will also get hot over time. So basically to make sure that there's a certain temperature that's maintained, and also so that the material doesn't break easily, because if it's stuck directly onto the wall, it's harder to keep it there. Okay. If it's kept on clamps, then it's much easier to keep it. So now we move on to the internal areas of our homes. So we start with the internal flooring of the bedroom, living room and other common areas. So in total, we have 6 layers in your flooring. Most developers only provide 3 to 4. So first we have the concrete slab, the gray one. Then, yes, that one. Then we have the rubber acoustic sheet. So this black sheet is called, it's basically for soundproofing purposes. So normally, like if you are, suppose if you're living in an apartment or a villa, if someone's running upstairs or moving around any furniture, you can hear all these things, and obviously it causes a lot of disturbance. So to minimize these sounds, the rubber acoustic sheet has been given. This is something that only 5-star and 7-star hotels use. Most residential areas do not have this at all. Then you have the waterproofing sheet, which is your general waterproofing, and then you have your fiber reinforced screed, grouting and porcelain tiles. So this will be the same throughout Heartland, irrespective of whether it is a studio apartment or if it's a 5 or 6 bedroom villa. So we have the same quality throughout. So next we have the partition wall. So now the partition wall can only be found in the washrooms and kitchens. All other locations such as your bedroom, living room, garage and other common areas will have a solid brick wall like the one we see over here. Now, this is basically for your living room, bedroom, garage area, because these are the locations where you want privacy, you want the walls to be thicker, you might want to put on a TV or something, and you can't actually have heavy wall hangings on this kind of a wall. So again, this is a benefit with Sobha because we have ensured that majority of the house has solid brick walls and not a false wall in place. But however, in some locations due to design purposes, you do need to have a partition wall. So over there, we'll find this kind. But again, we have ensured that it's still sturdy. So you have a double gypsum board on each side. So you have 2 here and 2 on this side. And you have a sound insulating layer in between in order to ensure that there is no disturbance over time.
So even this is soundproof and it has double layers both.
Exactly. Because normally a partition wall, it's hollow.
Yes,
like
exactly.
if someone accidentally falls on it, there's always a risk of it actually breaking if it's not done well. So basically to make sure that this sort of thing does not happen, we have ensured that it's double gypsum board on each side and you have a sound insulating layer in between as well.
Amazing.
Now next we have the grid ceiling. So this can also be only found in the washrooms and kitchens. It's made out of your standard gypsum boarding and aluminium cladding.
So this is the roof.
Yes, this is your
kitchens
and washrooms. Yes. Yeah. All right. So next we are going to actually see the different components in the washroom itself. So now over here you have the washroom flooring. So earlier we saw the living room, bedroom and other common areas. Now we're going to move to the washroom. Okay. So now the washroom has a separate layers because obviously you're going to have water collecting on top. So to make sure that the water does not damage the other components over time, we have 3 layers of waterproofing. So you actually have the bituminous paint 1. You have a geotextile membrane for the protection of the waterproofing layer, and then you have the waterproofing membrane itself.
Okay. And this is the floor of the bathroom.
This is the floor of the bathroom. So this is where you will be standing.
Floor, and this is underneath.
This is all underneath it. Okay. Yes. So in total you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 layers of flooring in your washroom only.
Okay, beautiful.
Now next over here we have the bathtub. So again you can see all of the necessary waterproofing layers. Now this black paint which you see on the wall, again this is a waterproofing layer in order to ensure that there is no damage to the walls over time due to the water. Okay. On the side however you have a removable tile. So basically in the future if there is any maintenance that's required, the labor, the technician, they can just simply remove the tile and they can carry out the work. There's no need
to work under the bathtub.
Exactly.
Finish it.
Instead of removing the entire bathtub, you can just remove the tile. Beautiful. Now for representation purposes, we have shown that it's diagonally cut, but in reality, the entire tile can also come out. We also provide 2 extra tiles that are always kept inside. So in case this one cracks or breaks, the client does not need to chase the developer for the same color, shade or size. They can just immediately replace it. So we have gone through thinking, like if this breaks, in case it breaks, what's going to be the problem? Like, does the client need to go to the trouble of calling the maintenance team to give me this size or this shape, and they have to wait for it to be ordered? None of this hassle has to be taken into account. It's all taken. Exactly. So here we have the water faucets. So the water faucets are from Safnan. So Safnan is actually a subsidiary company of Sobha. We manufacture this ourselves. So again, it's all in-house. Now over here you have a cross section of the shower cubicle. So again, you have all of the necessary waterproofing layers, as we have already seen. Additionally, the last two tiles towards the edge of the wall, they've been slightly inclined. So if you notice, it's slightly raised.
Talking about these two.
Yeah, those two basically.
They're tilted.
They're slightly tilted. So this is basically to prevent any water stagnation in your shower cubicle area. So basically to make sure that the water drains properly, it's been slightly inclined.
So just for me to understand, when you say the concrete, at the beginning when we talked about the concrete, it's the exact same.
So actually you over there.
Yes.
Okay, no. So this is basic. That's for the external side of the wall.
This is the internal.
This is the internal.
Right.
So in the internal, you do require fireproofing, but mainly it's given on the ceiling.
Right.
Because if you have fireproofing on the walls, then it's going to take up your space.
Okay. Got it. So it becomes less space.
Yeah. So in order to make sure that the room is still bigger, you have fireproofing on the ceiling. So you have your sprinklers, you have fire extinguishers and all of these things. But the walls are separate. So in the walls you have your main AAC blockwork, then you have your concrete and cement layer, then you have your grouting layer, and then you have your tiles. Right. Now obviously if you don't have tiles, then you won't have this layer as well.
Right. Okay.
It'll be a different finish.
Okay. But at the same time, it's the same finish throughout the house.
Yes.
The same number of layers.
Yes.
For the fireproofing, soundproofing purposes.
Yes.
Depending on where you are in the house.
Exactly. Okay. So for the internal, it will be a different standard. For the external, it will be a different standard. Right. The internal in the washrooms and the internal in the kitchens will be a different standard. Okay. So you can't follow the same throughout, because these locations, they have different fire hazards. Obviously, the washroom has more water collecting, so you need more waterproofing over there. Now, the kitchen is more of a fire hazard, so you need more fireproofing material over there.
Okay. Got it.
Now, over here, you have your security system. So basically, you have your doorbell and you have a camera on top, and you can see the live feed in the screen to my right. So this will be the security system that we have adopted throughout Hartland.
Right. So now, this is at the entrance. This is from your house.
From your house, yeah. Okay. Now, obviously, this is quite an older model, but obviously, as construction moves ahead, we'll be using the updated models as well. Now over here you have a mini model of the compressor unit for your air conditioning. So the air conditioning in the villas and townhouses is by LG, whereas in the apartment buildings it will vary depending upon the product. Okay. But throughout Hartland, all units are chiller free, so the client will not be paying for the air conditioning bill. Now, so this is inclusive of your duplexes, apartments, townhouses and villas as well. Next, we have a mini model of the solar water heater. So this is only for water heating purposes. It does not provide electricity for any of the utilities, and it's only applicable again for the villas and townhouses, not for the apartment buildings.
Right. But that also reduces the cost of using the water heater.
Yes, exactly. Because in the UAE, the main cost for your electricity is basically for your air conditioning and water heating.
Yes.
Those are the main things that consume a lot of power. Otherwise, you just have your regular TV, lights, which doesn't really amount up to that much. Okay. So we have cut that also in half.
Right. Okay. And this is used throughout Sobha Hartland?
For the villas and townhouses only.
Okay, got it.
So over here we have a cross section of the entire washroom, so that even before stepping inside the show apartment or the show villa, you can have a brief idea about what the washroom really looks like. So you have your flooring, which is again we have already covered. You have all of the necessary waterproofing layers. Your sanitary fittings are from Provident. So sanitary fittings would basically be the sink, water closet, shower tray and the bathtub that we saw earlier. So Provident is a German company. All the materials from ceramic. And over here you can also see the water faucets again, which are from Safnan, which is manufactured by Sobha itself. This is the lighting system that is also manufactured by Sobha. The water closet has a concealed flush tank. So the flush tank is actually inside the wall itself. The marble on top is removable for your maintenance purposes. Now all of your plumbing needs, which is basically the flush over there, your floor traps, are all from Provident. So Provident is again a German company. We have co-engineered a lot of the systems with them specifically for the Hartland project.
Beautiful.
So over here we have a representation of the kitchen. So any unit purchased in Sobha Hartland, the kitchen has 5 basic amenities pre-installed. So you'll have the hood, stove, oven, the dishwasher or washing machine and the fridge. Now all of these amenities will be from Siemens. The warranty will also be from Siemens itself. The size of these amenities will vary depending upon the size of the unit. So this is what we install in a studio apartment, but obviously as you move to 3 BHK, 4 BHK and then to a villa, the size of these amenities will also vary. Okay. But currently in the villas and townhouses, we do not have a gas stove. It's all electrical at the moment. The countertops and cupboardry is also manufactured and installed by Sobha. Everything is a marble glossy finish with a soft close. Okay. One cabinet is always reserved for your fire safety equipment, which is basically a fire safety blanket, fire extinguisher and a gas monitoring system. So now basically if you notice these edges, you have a silicon ceiling that's on all of the edges. Now this is a very small detail that some developers or contractors might miss. Now if you don't have this, you're going to have water collecting on the edges and then you have fungus and algae collecting over there. So basically in order to ensure that the countertop does not wither over time, we have the silicon ceiling that's been placed in all areas where you have water. So basically your sink and basically the washroom and the kitchen have all the silicon ceilings on all of the edges. Okay, perfect. So basically over here we have a representation of the wardrobes, which are also manufactured and installed by Sobha. The doors are made out of a MDF wood, so that's micro density fiber, and the walls are made out of a chipwood material. Now we have used different kinds of wood for the panels and for the doors because you have different use. For example, if your door is going to be open quite regularly, so this needs to be a little bit more heavyweight, whereas the walls need to be steady, so we have used a different kind of wood over there. Now additionally, in the villas and only in the villas, you have a lighting that has been placed inside. So once the door is open, lights also switch on, but again this is only applicable for the villas, not for the other products. Okay. Alright, now over here we move on to the main door and the internal door. So the main door is 54 mm thick, 2.5 meters tall. Internal door is 45 mm thick, 2.3 meters tall. Standard door height in the UAE is 2.25 meters, but since our ceilings are much higher, the door is also much taller. Okay. The main door is thicker for soundproofing purposes. Both these doors are made out of walnut wood. They're both fire resistant up to 60 minutes, and the ironmongery is from Italy. It has been tested for 3 million operations without fail.
Okay. 3 million times you open the door and...
yeah, basically they had a machine do tuk, 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 and then break. So over here we talk about the balcony. So again you have 3 layers of waterproofing over here. The waterproofing material, basically the geotextile membrane, is slightly different here because obviously this is going to be exposed to the atmosphere, hence it needs to be a little bit more rugged. Sure. So we have 3 layers of waterproofing in order to ensure that there is minimum to no leakage. We also have a cross section of the glass railing and of the balcony door. So the glass used here is double glazed tinted glass, which is shatterproof. So basically it can crack, but it will never fall out from the facade, which is a safety feature. Okay. The glass and aluminum profile, which you see all around, this has been manufactured and installed by Sobha. So we have a manufacturing industry by the name of Sobha Facades located in Sharjah, where all of this is manufactured. And over here basically you just have like a 10-step process on how construction takes place. The whole idea of the Experience Studio is to educate the client what you should be looking for when you're buying a home. Yes. It's not just about the size, it's not just about what the exterior facade looks like. Yeah. Because you can make even the most poorly constructed apartment or villa look extremely fancy and extremely luxurious. But then that's not the point. Because when you're investing in real estate, you need to make sure that even 10 to 15 years down the line, someone's not going to come and ask you for like a huge sum of money just for the maintenance. So that's what we have ensured. So you can actually see how construction takes place. Additionally, we also speak about our quality control team here. Our quality control team is led by Mr. Olaf Wagner. So he's from Germany. He has been with the company for approximately 17 years. He reports directly to our chairman in order to ensure that we have the best quality possible. Him and his team have personally trained majority of the labor that works on site in order to ensure that every personnel working on site knows exactly what they're doing and how to do it as well. So basically, via these iPads, we have construction in different phases. So if a client is really that concerned about the quality, in the first iPad, you have a 3D model and then a video of the construction of this Experience Studio. In the second iPad, you have actual floor plans that are being used during construction. So for example, if a client has purchased a unit, say in Creek Vistas, all right, and it's a type A apartment, you can actually go through these iPads, you can find the type A floor plan and you can see how it was constructed.
Okay, so this is more a technical side if someone who's actually wants to look at the details.
Exactly,
and the actual drawings that were used.
Yes.
what do they call them? Shop drawings. Basically.
Shop drawings, yes. So it's actually not about the layout of the unit, rather it's about your mechanical, electrical, plumbing and structural work.
Right.
Like for example, how do we maintain the slopes in the washroom? What was the gradient maintained over there? So all of these details can be found in this.
Right. So if you have an engineer customer,
wants to
go there and
yeah,
see the details.
Exactly. That's what they can look at.
Transparency.
Exactly, yeah. So basically as you move along, you can see more of these details, and in the final iPad, you will see the final finished product. On panel C, you can find some of the companies that we are currently in partnership with. So for example, you have Koni Elevators, Rack Ceramics, Daikin, LG, Duravit, Schindler, Honeywell, etc.
Right. Any company that that is not subsidiary of Sobha,
yes,
is part of Sobha Hartland project.
Yes, so we have included them over here. Yeah. Not any of them, some of them.
Some of them. Okay.
It's a huge project, so we have multiple
partnerships.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect.
So that basically concludes the tour of our Experience Studio, and this is the start of the 2-bedroom show apartment. So this is what the corridors of the apartments are expected to look like once finished. So as you can see, it's been entirely tiled because again, we're going for a very luxurious and posh product, hence everything has to represent the same. And now if you step to these doors, you'll find the 2-bedroom show apartment.
Perfect.
Good.
Thanks, man.
Okay.
Very helpful.
No problem.
So now that we've seen everything that goes behind Sobha Hartland walls, I want to show you what the final product looks like. Follow me. So if you're looking for an amazing high quality product in an amazing location in Dubai, get in touch with me and I'll take care of the rest.